You know, let's say the government saw me destroying the whole world and telling them to come back together, like I did during Joseph Robinette Biden's presidency, even though Donald Trump is on a second presidency. But yet, then the governments have had in place departments of governments and hate practices and things like that. So, let's say, therefore, let's say because the body's raised back in power of 1 Corinthians 15, and I'm just going about my day, and the government said, we saw you in the future and try and kill me. But then I'm of Hebrews 13:2 or something, that I'm Michael the Archangel. And so then, and my name is Keon Leonard Archie Jackson. I'm going to still put this on my YouTube channel. Hopefully. But you know what, though? And so, the governments can't blame me. Or let's say if somebody else, let's say because I've been strong, said the endless of days. Let's say if the government saw somebody punching the hole into the ground, causing an earthquake to a whole nation. But yet then the government said, oh, we just see it in the future, let's go get them. And that person just going about their day from when they was a baby. And the government kill him. And then let's say then his body raised back in power. Did the governments not just make what they trying to stop? I said you can't just look into the future and blame somebody. You know what? The thing with Lucifer, if the angels just would have saw me just hitting him, like when I made them and just attacked him, they would have looked at me and said, what are you doing? You're the one attacking. You can't just look into the future and blame somebody. Your government, the governments of the United States of America, I mean, the United Nations is nothing but a beastly kingdom. They think they know what's right. They may not know righteousness, nothing but a wild, beastly kingdom that the chief cornerstone gonna smash and conquer. You know what? You know what? You know what? I am right, if so. I am as right as 1 + 1 = 2. If I can declare 1 + 1 = 2 and be right, and what's right is right, then I'm supposed to let others honor, right? And if not, anyone is able to honor what's right, then I will honor what's right and declare myself as right, because what's right is right. Seriously. If the governments don't know this information and yet they continue to do it and don't want to honor that I'm right, should I not stand up and say I am right? You know what? You know what? You know what? Who has prudency? You know the thing with Lucifer, a very long time ago, if the angels just would have saw me, just say when I made him, and they just say, oh, they just would have saw me attacking. They would have said, what are you doing? You're attacking. And then they would have said, well, did you see his future? And if I said, yeah, and then he would have looked at me and said, but you just caused that to happen. I taught everyone, love one another. I know what y'all are going to do. Love one another. Said the wise man, everyone not about to blame me and get away with it. I said, love one another. I taught people love one another. I taught people self-defensive. So, and I said, call me if you need me. Michael the Archangel, a wise man. Seriously. You know what? You know what? Seriously. But I will say this. Though. What was I about to say? I guess if I say it, I say it. If I remember what I was going to say, hopefully. You know what? You know what? Oh yeah, let's say if the government uses someone with an ability, right, to see the future, not that they should, 1 Corinthians 12, not that they should at all, but let's say like the governments really shouldn't do it, but that is my professional advice as a guardian angel. Well, you know what though? I will say, if the governments are doing it, since I know the chief cornerstone going to smash the statue with his feet now in the clay anyway, I will say this, and the governments may say, well, are you doing the same thing with Galatians 6:7? Well, they're going to understand I conquer. I conquer. You know what? For everyone's benefit. No, not even for everyone's benefit. For what's right. I conquer. I conquer. I conquer. And you know what? I will say this. If the government has someone with an ability and they see someone getting hit, right, in their vision, or let's say the government has computer screens and I know the military has that television portal. I'm sorry. I know the government has the television screen to see into the future. And so let's say then every event, right? Or every event. Let's say every event that they recognize of trauma that they put in from their camera screens. Now let's say if someone had an ability to see the future and they have the camera screens, right? Just in taking the context, and then they say, you know what? I seen in my vision this person getting hit. And then they stop their vision, right? And then they know where it is. They say, okay, well, it happened here. And they have the government information to be able to pinpoint where that happened. And so outside of their vision, they can have a police officer around the corner that can stop one hit from turning into 20. Or stopping someone from going to a hospital. They don't call me the commander of the armies of the Lord Jesus Christ for no reason.